This is a story from the year 2016. A few doctors in this world were examining a patient's brain when they noticed something that had never been seen before in medical science. The patient had a brain disorder, because of which doctors were recording his brain activity through EEG. For the doctors, this was just a routine brain checkup, meaning they were testing the patient normally like they did with others. But they had no idea that something was about to happen during this test that would shake medical science completely. What happened was that only a few minutes after the test started, the patient suddenly had a heart attack and died. This incident was the first time in the doctor's lives that a patient had died during brain scanning. The doctors were now convinced that whatever was happening in the patient's brain at the moment of death must have been recorded in the test. And that is exactly what happened. Before and even after the patient's death, whatever his brain was processing was recorded. The patient who died during the brain scan was an 87-year-old Canadian national who suffered from a disease called epilepsy. Because of this illness, he would experience sudden seizures even while sitting. That is why doctors were monitoring his brainwaves using EEG. EEG, or electroencephalogram, is a test used to monitor electrical activity in the brain. In this test, about a dozen electrodes are attached to the patient's head, which detect electrical charges produced by brain cells and display them on a computer screen. Now, how do doctors understand what is going on in the patient's brain from these results? To understand that, we first need to understand the concept of brain activity. The human brain contains more than 100 billion neurons. These neurons are an essential part of our nervous system, and their job is to transmit messages from one part of the brain to another. These messages are actually electrical charges sent by neurons from one region and received by neurons in another, which then process the message and signal the body to perform an action. At any given time, so many processes are happening in the brain that countless electrical charges move from one place to another. These movements create patterns called brainwaves. Each type of activity has a different brainwave pattern, and medical science has given them different names. So far, 5 types of brainwaves have been identified: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and theta waves. Alpha brainwaves have a frequency of 8 to 12 Hz. They are produced when the mind is completely relaxed, such as when we wake up in the morning and lie in bed calmly, or when we practice meditation or yoga. Beta waves have a frequency of about 12 to 30 Hz. They are produced when we are fully alert, focused, and engaged in tasks, thinking or concentrating on something. Gamma waves range from about 25 to 100 Hz and have the highest frequency among brainwaves. They occur when we are highly active and performing complex tasks. Highly intelligent people solving difficult problems quickly often show strong gamma activity. Delta waves have the lowest frequency, ranging from 0.5 to 4 Hz. They occur during deep sleep. These waves help produce important hormones in the body, especially growth hormone. They are more common in children and decrease with age. Theta waves range from 4 to 7 Hz and occur when memorizing, learning new skills, or daydreaming. Now that we understand brainwaves, it becomes easier to understand the patient's brain scan. As mentioned earlier, gamma waves range up to about 100 Hz. Within this range, a specific frequency band is associated with memory recall. When we remember important events in our lives, the brain produces gamma activity in this range. Doctors noticed that at the moment of the patient's death, there was a significant increase in gamma waves in his brain, particularly in the range associated with recalling memories. Scientists had tried before to observe brain activity at the moment of death, but they could not fully record it. However, in this case, both before and after death, for a few minutes, the patient's brain appeared to replay memories of his life. Doctors and scientists studied this brain activity from 2016 to 2022, for about 5 years. Their conclusion suggested that at the time of death, a person may recall life events. Although there is no definitive proof, Similar experiences have been reported by people who nearly died but survived. Many of them said it felt as if their life flashed before their eyes. Doctors did not publish this brain scan immediately because they wanted to study it thoroughly and also hoped to find similar cases to confirm their findings, but they were unsuccessful. Since they only have data from one patient, their findings remain controversial. Researchers also noted that the patient was already ill and taking medications, which could have affected brain activity and influenced the results. Nevertheless, there is a strong possibility that when a person is dying, their entire life may flash before them. If this is true, then a person who has done good deeds may see positive memories, while someone who has done wrong may experience the opposite. What do you think about this scientific research? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully, you will like and share this as well.